The following is an exclusive original presentation of the 252 ESPN Radio Network.
The drive starts right now.
Starts right now.
Just living the dream.
Here's a guy who gets paid to talk.
Are you ready for the most electrifying man in sports and entertainment? No, he didn't.
Doing a radio show, so what? The most anticipated radio show ever.
Right on three. 1, 2, 3.
We've made it to Friday, and a very happy Friday to everybody. I'm Mark Penicelli. Happy to have Sam Avalos with me on this Friday.
Every day, man.
When
I'm here every day.
I know, but because the show writes itself today, Sam. When the sports world serves up what it served up to us last night, if I go down the list, Sam, it was, first off, a big sporting event. You got it, so check that off on your box. There were stars involved, so you not only had it, because, sometimes you have a championship and the Spurs are playing. So, it doesn't move the meter. Sorry, Spurs fan, but you know what I mean.
Come on, man.
They were known as the boring team, though.
Yeah, but...
Okay, I'm picking. I was trying to interject a joke. It didn't really work, but here. We had superstar, plural. We had big stage. We had, oh my God, a competitive game. I kept waiting, especially in the third quarter, for everybody else. You know what the statistics say about what the Warriors do to teams in the third quarter. It's like plus 138 or some ridiculous number like that. And they would go on these little runs, but they didn't get a lead that big until literally the end of the game. So up until the end of the game, and literally I mean the end, it was a competitive game. So we had all of those components working for us, which on any given day, Sam, is enough to feed the sports talk fuel, right? I mean, the fire that burns inside the sports talker. I mean, we had all those elements. But then crazy stuff happened. All of a sudden, J.R. Smith did something that, to me, when we talk about things like the Chris Webber timeout at Michigan, those go down, I think we're doing a top 5 today. I mean, when we go down to top 5 sports blunders of all time, where will J.R. Smith in this instance, that's going to be on somebody's top 5 list somewhere, especially the Cleveland sports fan, right?
The reason this J.R. Smith thing is going to be so legendary, I think, is because of the way that you saw the Cavs respond, or more accurately, the way they did not respond. The Cavaliers played so well all game long. Then the incident happened with J.R. Smith where it looked like he might have just taken a big old rip of some of California's finest right before the start of that play and completely forgot where he was, forgot where he was going, forgot what he was supposed to do. And then in overtime, you just saw all the air come out of the sails of the Cleveland Cavaliers. And if that continues, if all the energy from this Cavaliers team has now been ripped away from them because of what J.R. Smith did in 3 seconds, then we are always going to remember that as the play that killed the Cavaliers, the play that may have a larger overreaching impact on LeBron James's overall legacy, and one of the funniest things that I have seen in several years in the sports world. I was telling you, I was cackling hysterically sitting on my couch last night as I watched that happen, as I watched LeBron James just look completely blown away and baffled, having no idea what his teammate just did.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Just completely. Look, there's a million jokes to be made about this. The funniest thing that I have heard or seen is that at the end of this game last night, J.R. Smith forced overtime against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, man, to do that to your own team, never, ever have I seen something like that.
I mean, he had the early play, the dirty play. What was it in the first quarter? I mean, it started off bad for him, and I thought, wow, like don't JR, like don't go out like that. And then for it to end with him pulling off, as you were talking about, one of the most bizarre "what are you doing" moments. I just, again, I put up, as we say, we got our sports board up there. Everybody knows that line from Gladiator, right? Is it Gladiator? I'm thinking about the right movie. It was like, "Are you not entertained?" Because I was. I can always gauge how incredible the sports event was by how long it takes me to go to sleep. So when it's an NBA game and it's over at midnight or whatever, when I don't get into bed until about 2:00 because it raised my adrenaline, I know I was entertained. And that's what that game did for me last night. I was, wow. I mean, just unbelievable. Can we go back to, okay, so because J.R. Smith stole the show, what we're not going to remember is, wow, LeBron James, right? Are you on the same page with me? Wow, LeBron James?
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Oh, 100% it's wow, LeBron James. But again, and look, I don't want to take anything away from LeBron James at all during this whole entire series because I think I've gotten to the point where I'm done hating on LeBron, and I hope I've let it be known that when I hate on LeBron, it has nothing to do with his basketball ability. It's just that I kind of think he's a phony in his attitude. I can't really get behind. But man, you have to feel so bad for LeBron James. It was a look of just terror and fear and confusion, and something that's going to be so memeable for years to come now is you have the expression of LeBron just jaw dropped, pointing at the basket, and J.R. Smith just walking away. This was the first time in NBA history that we have had a 50-point scorer in an NBA Finals game, and that player did not win. This was the sixth instance of it last night, and it was also the largest margin of victory. So in all the 5 other times where there has been a NBA Finals player who scored at least 50 points, they have won, but they have never even won by so much as LeBron James's Cavaliers lost by last night, despite LeBron dropping a 50-burger.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Love had an okay game. He didn't shoot well from the 3-point range. I mean, I think it was like 1 for 8 or something like that from beyond the arc, but played okay. And when we talk about that ancillary cast of guys for Cleveland, we knew they had to have a good performance, and they certainly couldn't do what J.R. Smith did at the end of that game. I mean, why don't you just go back up for the shot? I mean, the worst case scenario, you're going to get fouled. You're right there at the basket. There's like 4.7 seconds left. It's the awareness. I have to play this because I hope this is the call that I think it is. Please let it be.
Spins, shoots, it's short. Rebound grab by J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith dribbles it to the far side, throws the hill. The game is tied at 107. We're going to overtime. I think the Warriors will take that under the circumstances. Yeah. Over the last 2 minutes. Just wow.
So, okay, I've seen some people try to blame, because I feel like there needs to be an order of blame here. And I'm going to nominate 4 people, and I want you to help me rank them out as to who gets blamed the most. And I think obviously J.R. Smith is probably going to be at the top. Yes. Number 1 guy on the blame list is George Hill. If he makes a free throw, they go up. Yeah. But people miss free throws.
Yeah, and I mean, let's face it. I think Steve Kerr had already said, I want the timeout. That would have given them a half-court play, a 1-point game. Right. You're putting a lot on the line. I mean, really,
I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron was on the line and he said, I'm going to miss this second free throw on purpose.
Yeah, and to me, this is where, I mean, I don't take – in fact, George Hill missing that's the best-case scenario, especially when J.R. Smith gets the rebound.
Right, yeah, given what we saw play out.
Gosh,
yeah,
I mean, that could have been the best – I mean, you literally – You tied the game with the 1 free throw, right? You miss the next one, but you get the possession, and you have 4.7 seconds to get a shot off. And then J.R. Smith is, again, we don't know what he's doing. So I know a lot of people have said George Hill make the free throw, but I think that actually puts Golden State in a position. They've got all those weapons. Mm-hmm. They could get a shot off in 4.7 seconds, and it would have been a dagger. He makes the free throw. I think they still lose, and the Warriors hit a game-winning shot.
Yeah, and this is a whole conversation for another day, but that is sort of it's kind of like we talk about in football. Would you rather, have the lead and be going against the quarterback, run a 2-minute drill, or be down 3 points and have the ball? Which would you rather have? And I think in this situation, it's not a bad idea to say, okay, let's give ourselves a chance. Let's keep the ball out of their hands to maybe make the game winner, which is bizarre because you would think that you just play defense for 4 seconds and you can stop them if you go ahead and take that lead.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's just a philosophical conundrum.
Yeah, you bring up a great point. I mean, to me, it's like most of the time I'll take the lead and give them the ball in football.
Right.
Unless their quarterback's Tom Brady or something.
Right,
You know what I
yes.
mean? And that's what Golden State is. You're
They've got 3 Tom Bradys.
Right. So, yeah, I don't feel comfortable about that at all.
Okay,
All right, go down your list.
Next guy on the blame list. So I'm going to go from what I think is the least offensive to the most offensive. Third on my list here is LeBron James. Because LeBron James, I would think at this point in the season and playing with this group of knuckleheads, most notably J.R. Smith, kind of understands what he has, I would think. I would put it on LeBron to let everybody know the situation, right? He is the catcher, if you will. He is the middle linebacker. He is the quarterback. When the play is resetting, it's up to LeBron James to make sure everybody knows what the situation is. Hey, guys, if the ball comes off the rim here, we have 4 seconds left. The game will be tied. JR, you need to go back up with it or kick it out immediately. Do something. Make them move. So third on my list here is LeBron James is at fault. And I know it's hard to blame him for anything, but I feel like he's got to understand that maybe he needs to straighten out the idiots on his team.
Well, and I mean, I do. I mean, again, I know he's a distributor, but Jeff Green misses those shots down the stretch, and he was deferring and passing, and I kept thinking, no, stop. You're driving down the lane. You're LeBron James. Worst case scenario, they're going to call a foul on somebody.
Right.
I mean, right? Let's be honest with each other. So,
but in that situation, like, do you see what I'm saying? Where okay, maybe LeBron should have said something. Okay, second on my list here.
They should have been trying to call a timeout. I mean,
well, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
Second on the list, Ty Lue. Ty Lue's not getting enough blame today. Ty Lue had a timeout, and the second J.R. Smith's back is turned to the basket, timeout. We've got the ball, and now we can set up our game-winning shot. Yeah, I mean, I'd move him up further on the thing. That's ultimately where my blame is. Goes ultimately because the number one for me is still going to be J.R. Smith because, come on, dude, you're a vet. You've been there. You can't look at LeBron James and say, "Oh, I thought we was ahead." He claimed that he knew that it was tied, but you can visibly see him say, "I thought we were ahead" to LeBron on the court.
And if you're a Cleveland sports fan, I mean, that was devastating because you had them down. You would be taking home court advantage away from Golden State, now only needing to win the 3 games in Cleveland to win the series. Last night, that would have changed the whole, right? I mean, I think we're all expecting a blowout on Sunday because just go back to when Toronto had that chance to put the dagger on Cleveland in Game 1. I know it's hard to say that sort of emotional loss down the stretch, the way you just cough up a win, because that's what Cleveland did. To me, Toronto was never the same after coughing that up down the stretch. Then they get swept. If this is a blowout on Sunday, it may be a 4-game sweep. And you're right, we'll look back on this and go, how different this series would have been if J.R. Smith had not just completely lost his mind. And how do you do that, Sam? I mean, how do you lose? I mean, the entire world knows it's a tie game with 4.7 seconds.
Right.
There's 20,000 people there. They all know what the score is and how much time is left, except that one dude, and he's on the damn floor.
So what is the JR in J.R. Smith?
Them eyes were small, too. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's what I told you, man. He found some of California's finest somewhere before the beginning of that play. But so JR now stands for just remind me of the score or just run away from the basket. I mean, what was he doing? I'm so excited to see the injury report come out for Sunday's game because I think what we're going to see is like J.R. Smith, concussion, multiple facial contusions, cracked orbital bone, out for the game. LeBron James, sprained wrist, mild soreness, questionable. LeBron James is going to kill J.R. Smith.
Yes.
He should.
It literally looked like he was trying to run out the clock. There's nothing he could say otherwise to me. That completely is him not knowing the score. If he did know the score, then somebody must have gotten his ear and said, hey, I'm losing on this line. Because what's interesting is if You know how, I mean, you can say bad beat or not, but I think the line was 11.5 for 12 points
13.
last night. Was it 13?
13. It finished at 12.
And it finished at 12.
Or at 10, excuse me.
At 10. So the Cavaliers did end up covering anyway.
Yeah, but it was close.
Yes.
It was close.
But the over-under, I think, might have been affected, right? No.
I don't remember what it was.
No, because it was 107, right, at the end of regulation. And I think 214 might have been the...
217 was the over-under.
Ooh, so that did affect the over-under.
It did.
Okay.
Yeah, it went over.
But, I mean... I do not know what. I've never seen anything. That's one of those things. You go back to greatest sports blunders ever. I mean, it's going to go up there. I hate
It's
to
going to go up there. The Chris
know,
Webber, the Jose Canseco, home run off the head.
I hate to be prisoner of the moment. But on this stage, I've never seen someone that unaware of where he was or what he was doing. And a guy who'd been there before. I mean, let's be honest with you. If this is some rookie, then you're like, okay, dude, just the lights were too bright. J.R. Smith he's one of I think there's 9 players who have been to all 4 of these Cavs-Warriors battles in the last 4 years, and he's one of them. He's seen this. He's done this. And what's even sadder is Knicks fans will remind you of when he did this to them. A few years.
I was going to say,
ago.
there's a headline from the New York Daily News from several years ago where the headline the next day is why JR, and the underscore, the headline, Smith's dumb shot dooms Nick as guard says he didn't know score. Literally happened with this same player.
I know we need to take a break, so we probably need to do that. But we got a great Friday show for you. More to come here